Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starfall Collective Interlude, Mud's Baubles. I, of course, am your Dungeon Master, Mr. Joshua Suich, and I'm joined by many of my friends, old and new-ish. Matthew Talamini in the red hood. Give everyone a wave and let them know who you are.
Hey, I'm Matthew. I'm Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. I'm playing Thak the Thunderer, a half-orc, or am I fully orc?
You're half-orc.
A half-orc gentleman who is a multi-classed bard and paladin.
Woohoo! Mr. Left Barrel, give us a wave. Tell us who you are and who you're playing tonight.
I am David. And
you got it right. Keep going.
All right, and I'm playing Bugbar Bayar the Bugbarian.
Woohoo!
And you can find me on the internet.
Bugbarian.
Which is called 10,000 Reasons Why the MTG Multiverse is a Terrible Place to Live.
And that is his blog, by the way.
You can find it on Bing.
Woohoo!
Bing?
Yeah.
We're not
done
with
peso when you use Bing to arrive at his site. Mr. Knoll, facelessly, but with mellifluous voice.
Sometimes my face is here.
Sometimes, quantumly. It makes quantum appearances. The dice
hands.
don't lice. That's your pain. Tell us about yourself and who you play.
Who do I play? I play Slaps Hamfast, the cat man with a
Tabaxi.
bow that will make you cry. It's so beautiful. And I drive a taxi
Pulled by two
warthogs.
That's right. Two big old magical razorback warthogs with huge fangs. Tusks. Sorry. Very good. Aaron Crossfield. We can't see you either, but are you there? No, I don't hear her. Sir Robert and Jacob. Sir Robert, why don't you say hey and tell us who you're playing tonight? Very good. And Jacob, who are you playing tonight?
I am playing Jacob. I'm not playing myself. Congrats. You played yourself.
It's hard.
There you go.
I know it's hard.
You played yourself.
I'm playing Gilead Blackgallow, the conniving trickster that is currently disguised. Or he's generally disguised, but now he's more disguised.
That's right. Disguises within disguises. And joining us, not a moment too late or too soon, but right on time, just like a wizard should be, Aaron Crossfield. Tell us, who are you playing tonight?
Hey, I am playing Beja. She's a rock gnome and druid and lots of fun.
Cool. And she has a beautiful long nose with just a couple fewer gold baubles sticking out of them because there are a couple of them in the dirt. So if anybody with a really high perception score and multiple ranks in CSI come to the scene, they'll be able to track you to those gold nose rings. So I left a
So are those baubles Mud's baubles?
Those are Beja's baubles. There are multiple
Beja's
baubles scattered throughout. See if you can find them all.
So many baubles.
So you guys are in a bit of a pickle. You've split the party, and two of you have recently experienced great success, and two of you have experienced about the worst way that the situation can break. It's done broke. So Slaps Hamfast whipped out his beautiful bow. Slaps, what does that bow look like as we see this corpulent tabaxi?
Oh, you don't see me.
Oh, that's right. You were like a ninja.
Yeah.
So
If
from
you
the
want to see me, you
shadows.
have to really try.
That's right. From the shadows,
You
an
can't-
arrow comes flying out.
Yeah, you can't even know what the bow looks like. It's hidden. You have to
That's
find
right.
me.
So an arrow comes shooting from the shadows and sticks into this cat that slaps it a couple of times, or at least once. Managed to successfully perceive there was something very wrong with this thing. So he shoots it, and it turns inside out and grows in mass and is now something about the size of a wolf. And it has this kind of hydra-like fountain of flesh coming out of the middle of its back. And instead of tentacles, it's got vaguely feline skulls, and its limbs are kind of all pointing inwards. So that's what the main party is facing. Thak and Boog, Team Braun, you guys have just ripped an iron grate and stones out of the wall, just ripped the whole thing out. Boog held it up and said, "Bad workmanship," and he tossed it over his shoulder. You guys make it through the aperture and stand up in a wooden furnished but stone walled hallway. There are sconces in the walls giving light, and the corridor stretches a good ways in either direction before it makes a turn. It goes a good maybe like 25 feet in that direction and 35 in that direction. So you're on a 60-foot.
Can you give us a north, south, east, west?
Sure.
or
Let's
left,
say
right?
let's say north and south.
Okay.
I thought we heard some. Didn't we hear some
Voices? You did indeed.
Yes,
Just getting to
voices.
that. So just describing the scene, that's the location. You guys had just kind of popped out and you heard this before you really saw anything. So now that you've been standing there for a couple of seconds, you get the lay of the hallway and you hear these voices coming from, sounds vaguely like more to the north than to the south.
Boog, these people have my property. Let's go talk to them.
Yes, let's talk to them.
And Boog turns up the north hallway and takes off at a trot. Which
Thak
which-
wishes to follow him, and Thak says, "Restrain yourself, you animal."
Why?
and
Okay.
Boog goes on. Boog breaks into a run. He's just
Yep.
he's trucking it.
Boog is coming up on a turn in the a 90-degree turn to the left, and as he comes round the corner, he sees a guy sitting at a table, leaning back in a chair and looking over his shoulder to his left, and his eyes get really huge as he sees a 7-foot tall bugbear come around the corner. You see his eyes go up.
Can I go into
he
a
was
rage?
staring down the hallway. You see his eyes go up; they get huge. He starts like this.
I'm gonna rage. Can I rage?
My man,
Why
you
would
can
you
do whatever
rage?
you
I'm
want.
gonna go into a rage.
Thak is
Boog.
going to have to arrest you.
Can I attack him?
Thak was on board with causing a disturbance, right?
I'm just causing a distraction here.
So
Yeah, you know what
anyway,
it's like to hang out with that.
Thak is not on board with murdering watchmen.
so you
This
see.
is happening.
So Thak, you come around the corner and you see Boog is probably about maybe 20 feet from, if you can kind of barely see around Boog as he's running because he's so big. Make me a perception check to see how much you can see around this enormous mass of sprinting fur.
You got it.
As Boog
That
goes into
is-
a rage, go ahead.
Going to be a 12
A
perception.
12. As Boog goes into a rage, his eyes grow in the color and intensity. They become just flaming coal red, and they get even bigger. And you hear the axe suddenly erupt into a. It sounds like a chainsaw and an electric guitar on full volume. Very good. We're going to come back to that scene in just a second. Thack, do you see an open door and you see that Boog is about to run into a room. That's about all you got. You can see that there's chairs, and yeah, that's about it. A 12 doesn't get you too much. So, very good. A team or party one. What do you guys do? A arrow has just shot a cat that has turned into a monstrous aberration kind of thing, the size of a wolf, and Slaps. It is your arrow that triggers this, and so I'm going to say, with your cat-like reflexes, you've got the opportunity to do something.
Could I shoot another arrow?
You
at
can
it?
feel free to do that.
So
will,
are we still
do that.
poisoned?
Yes, everything that you do will be at disadvantage because just as this thing turned into its larger form, it shrieked, and every single one of you failed your Constitution saving throws. So you are all
Gotcha.
in a kind of sickened condition where you are at a disadvantage to your attack rolls and saving throws.
So is this a poison? I ask because Bedja's totally immune to poison.
It is not a poison. It is an effect. It is a mind-altering effect. It is a spell-like effect. So
Okay, so instead of shooting an arrow, Slaps will hunter's mark this
okay.
whatever is going on.
So that'll take
monstrosity.
up your bonus action, and now you've got your standard action.
So now I just roll a single attack, right?
Yes, but roll it with disadvantage.
No, hunter's mark gives me advantage.
Oh, okay, so just roll it straight. Very good.
I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure.
Slaps, you see
That's
his
true.
eyes narrow. Well, cat-like, you see him widen to take in more light, and you see him connect with arcane
wait.
focus.
No, I still need to roll. It's advantage on wisdom or wisdom checks. Wisdom or wisdom checks? That didn't make sense. Yeah, so I still need to roll with disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
So there's 1, 2. Aha! 22 or 23. Which one do you prefer?
They both hit. Give me some beautiful beam damage.
Only one of those hit. It's disadvantage.
Okay.
There's only one shot. I rolled it twice, right? That's how disadvantage works?
Yeah. You roll it twice, you take the lower. You hit.
Yeah.
What's the damage?
Oh, you're saying both of them. I gotcha. I'm falling behind. What's the damage?
Yep.
The damage is this plus a d6. Where's the d6? There it is.
Charlize Theron, you wrote down this teen. That's not a real number, but a magazine I might read.
16.
16 damage? Good golly, Miss Molly. You see this thing, it just pierces straight through at kind of the base of the group of necks, and you see the whole cluster of necks is writhing and whipping around. It looks like you really caught it in the tender jibs.
Gotcha.
All right.
So attacks per action is 2. Can I attack him again?
You can.
I will do that.
Hopefully this time a little more expeditiously.
Gotcha. How does 18 work?
That's a hit.
Nice. That will expedite everything.
And that was at disadvantage, correct?
Yeah.
Great. Give me that damage.
It is 14.
Ooh, the other arrow goes right next to it, but like just a few inches off. You don't want to go into the same hole. You want to hit more tissue, right? So,
yeah, definitely.
And you see this thing, it's now twitching, right? But its jaws are still slapping and slathering. Beja, what do you do?
Now that he's distracted, I dash to Fenton Mud.
Okay.
And I honestly want darn, I've forgotten your name. Thax. No, not Thax. God, man.
Slaps.
Slaps.
Yeah. Slaps, thank you. I think Slaps is going to run a lot faster than either Harcourt or myself. And he's pretty strong. I wanted just to scoop us up one under each arm and take off for the door on the far side, which is the only other door that I see. It's got to be the door that leads from here to our treasures.
Okay. Very good. So you want to make a hasty retreat. So you run over.
Hasty advance, man. We are going right past that distracted person. Eyes on the prize.
Okay. So Beja, you sprint and you're dodging and running around certain boxes and stuff, but you've got a pretty good sense in your mind of where to go. So you're headed for that far wall, and as you come running up to it, you see a series of stairs going up, and you take one look at them and you go, whoa. Roll me a survival check. Your gnomish sense of structural integrity for underground structures is kicking in.
Okay.
For this 3.5, I would ask you to make a dungeoneering check, but I think this is a survival check.
I got an 8.
An 8. Yeah, you take one look at that and you go, man, you would think that with all the moisture and the mold and the mildew down here, something like that would have collapsed already. Thank goodness it's here. And so you go running up.
Okay.
So, but that will take up your movement, even double moving, using your action to make an extra move. So you are now at the foot of the stairs. Boog and Thack, we're going to get back to you in a minute, but Harcourt, Fenton, Mud, what do? You see Beja go taking off for the stairs. Yeah, I'll say that she looks around for you, and you're hidden, you're stealth, and I didn't even bother making. Do you want to, Beja? Do you want to make a check to look for Harcourt because he's hidden?
Nah, I'll just keep my eyes out as I run.
Yeah. She said her eyes were on the prize, and she sprinted for the thing. So yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Or at least he shot it twice from a distance. Yeah, Gilead. Gilead is standing next to the old crazy guy. So he's standing on the other side of the old crazy guy from the cat. So Gilead at least has the old crazy guy. Cooper Jenkins, who takes care of the animals, is a human shield, effectively. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay, very good. Roll me a sleight of hand check. Correct. Unless there was something that would give you advantage, in which case do it neutrally, but okay. Jeez. All right. Yeah, this guy is distracted by his pet cat turning into a monstrous aberration, and he doesn't seem to be quite as shocked as one would expect. So you get the sense just in this split second that maybe he's, whatever. And yeah, you rifle through his pockets and you pull out a ring o' keys and a stick o' jerky that is wrapped up in a piece of waxed leather. And so you now have some ripe and slightly fetid jerky and keys and a piece of waxed leather. So. Yeah, if you use the rest of your move, you can get to a point where you can see Beja and you and Beja are kind of close, but Beja's a little bit in front of you. Okay. Gilead, what are you going to do?
Try not to summon any demons.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You go running up, and you've got enough move to get past Beja and start going up the ladder, up the
Goodness, you're smallest.
walkway.
Maybe you can make it up.
Okay, yeah. So make me a acrobatics check to try to,
I thought it was stairs.
Yep, it is. But as soon as you put your first foot
They're
on it,
wiggly.
and you feel everything go lurching beneath you, and the whole structure begins to bend, you'll need to make an acrobatics check. Yep. Excellent. So, yeah, you see Harcourt go running, and he steps on the first step, and it kind of breaks and cracks beneath his foot. Fortunately, he's got his other foot up, and he catches himself and keeps traveling up. And when he gets to the end, you see the entire pallet that he steps on like goes sliding off, and he kind of jumps and grabs onto a pole. And so you're now kind of holding onto a pole, balancing with your legs spread. And there's about, maybe a 12-foot drop beneath you. Yeah, and then Gilead Blackgallow. What do you do? That's what my money's on. But I believe. Clap if you believe in fairies. I can hear somebody else clapping, but I think it might just be me. Okay, yeah. All right, so we will see what Gilead is going to do about being left basically alone with a crazy person and an alien. Boog, you are about to charge through a room, and there's a dude wearing what looks like some pretty nice armor, leaning back in a chair. And as you step into the room, you see 3 other dudes, all wearing decently nice armor, who are basically in the process of spilling mugs of beer, and in the process of either trying to reach for a weapon that's on them or in the corner. But yes, you have caught these gentlemen slightly drunk and flat-footed. What do you do as you charge into this room?
I would like to, let's see. So I'm in a rage. I think, do I have the, have I caught these guys by surprise?
I would say so.
So I
Yeah.
get my,
They were talking and laughing and drinking. They did not hear you guys coming.
I get a bonus on the first attack I make if I catch surprise attack.
Yep.
Okay. So my for my first attack then, I'm gonna the guy on the chair.
Yeah.
In the chair. I'm just gonna wallop him with a good old left hook.
Nice. Roll me that attack. You're
You're
not at disadvantage.
Woohoo. There. That is a 23.
A 23. Okay. Yeah. You clock this guy, and I'm going to say because you're running at him at speed and he's already sitting, you basically knock him out of his chair, and he goes tumbling across the floor. My goodness. That's just savage. Oof, that poor man. Yeah. You knock him on the jaw, and he doesn't get up. You don't think you killed him, but you think you might have like cold cocked
Do you
him.
want me to roll damage?
Sure,
No.
go for it.
All right. That's let's see this. 8 plus. Oh, ow. That is 19.
19 points of damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You go, huh, knocked him out. Huh? And you see blood come like trickling out from where he's like laying face down on the ground. You're like, maybe not knock out. So anyway, yeah.
Who's next? I turn to the next guy and
Okay.
just right hook.
So you're holding your axe like this, and you just run in and just punch the guy and punch the next guy.
Punch the left guy in the left, and he's got the axe, but he doesn't swing it. He just
Okay, so he's punching with the axe in his hand. Okay, so so you're holding the axe somewhat close up to the head, with the head kind of pointed back and away, and with that all that extra momentum, man, your punch is hitting like a wrecking ball. Roll me that attack.
All right. Bob. That is not as good. That's gonna be 11. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you go to punch at this guy, but because the axe is in your hand, the weight is off, and it would have been a devastating punch if it had landed. But the axe kind of throws off your timing enough that the guy's able to
overshoot and punch the wall behind him.
Yeah, you punch into the stone, and you see some of the stones in the wall like dent, and the two guys look at each other and kind of scream, and one of the guys turns and runs, the guy who's closer to the door, and he just literally jumps over his buddy's body as he's running out the room, and the other guy goes, "Dare you!" And he, goes to try to lift up a shield. He's not even really wearing it, but he takes a defensive stance. He says, "What do you want? Who are you? Get out!" Ah! And he's just kind of screaming and begging for mercy. Thack.
One of Boog's eyes turns blue.
Nice. Thack
approaches the door where all this is taking place. I suppose he has just seen two of the guards run out of it, or one of the guards run out of it.
Uh-huh. And you hear a which is the distinct sound of someone being clotheslined and then landing on their back on the floor.
Thack runs up to the guard who just left the room.
So you stick your head out the doorway, and
wait, I'm in the hallway. I haven't gone in the door. I haven't gone in the room yet.
Okay. So he ran. Sorry. Let me be clear about this picture. The room that you just stepped into, I didn't
step into it.
Okay.
I didn't say I stepped into the room.
At the doorway.
I never went in. I peeked my head in the door.
Forward. Yeah. You see that across the room, there's another door, and you just watched a guy run out of it, and you heard the sound come through that of the guy getting clotheslined and landing on his back. So when you said, "I follow the guy who just left," that's what I thought you meant. Sorry.
Okay. I had not been told that the room had two doors. So I thought that when the guy left, he had left through the door that I was approaching.
I apologize.
Cool. So I step between Boog and his the cowering human.
So you step into the room and you like kind of jump up onto the table and then step down between Boog and this guy, because this guy is kind of back in the corner and the table is on one side, the wall is on the other, and the guy is at the far end. You see that there's a couple of chairs that are overturned. So he's effectively semi-blockaded, semi-cornered. So you step in front of Boog between this guy. And the dude, when he sees you and sees you step up, he screams, and you see him try to like shield bash you. So as you enter his space, and yeah, sure enough, he just kind of checks you real hard. And you take 6 damage from this shield bash as this spike, finds, gouges in. You feel a rib begin to buckle.
Okay. It doesn't. This attack ignores my armor class.
Well, I'm just saying he rolled a 23, and we established before that the 21 hits you. I apologize. Does a 23 hit you?
Yeah, 23 does hit.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm playing too fast because I'm trying to speed up. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I thought he was trying to like push me, and I was expecting a contested athletics check, but he was actually hitting me with like a spike on the shield.
Yeah, he jabs out at you to try to, deter you from coming closer.
Okay.
Do you stop or do you close the distance and get in front of him?
Did I not make it in between him and Boog?
You did. That's what you took the attack of opportunity to get there. So you are now placed between him and Boog. All right.
Okay. I say to Boog, what are you doing?
Causing a distraction.
Boog's eyes start just changing colors, just going off like a disco ball.
If I can say
It's
anything
like
more,
red and purple and orange and pink.
I say to the man who just attacked me, come together, we can subdue this maniac. And if I have any movement left, I will use it to tackle Boog.
Okay, yeah, you're able to kind of move forward and get into his space. Do you want to grapple him? You've still got an attack action left. Do you want to try to physically lock him up, or do you want to try to take up a position where you're going to blockade him or intimidate him or something?
I wish to grapple him to prevent him from taking further actions or moving.
Nice. All right. Roll me a I think you just have to attack, and if you successfully make an attack, then you grapple him. Is that correct, Matt?
Contested strength check?
I make a athletics check, and he can make athletics or acrobatics to try and.
We'll go straight to the contest. Yes.
Okay. Does my rage gives me advantage on strength checks? Does that help me here?
This is related. You get advantage on this athletics check.
21.
26.
Oh man, you see Thack, who is like a foot shorter than Boog, just walk up to him and just grip him by each of the wrists and just and you see Boog you see his toes digging into the floor. What's that?
Boog is just straining and grinning and spitting all over the place, and
Thack pushes back on Boog, and you see his toes carve these ruts into the wood itself as Thack just pushes him back.
Now we have a fight.
Okay, just then, Thack, hit pause. I want you to go back with me to the day that you said goodbye to Harcourt Fenton Mudd and skipped town before the officials could really catch up with you and congratulate you and laud you over everything that you had done for Fujidome. You tried to slip out in the middle of the night, and someone was waiting by the gate and did not let you leave alone. A woman who is basically your height, and actually looked a little bit like you because she was also a half-orc, a woman named Gara, someone who had your back in a bar fight and had made sure that your stuff had gotten back to you, someone who had sent you notes trying to arrange a tryst, which you did not show up to.
I didn't show up.
You did not. So, as you go to leave, a husky but beautiful female voice says, "You didn't think you were going to leave without me, did you? Gosh, you really are dumber than you look." Fortunately, and she goes over to you and she peels your hood back and she peels her own back and she says, "You're handsome enough to make up for how dumb you are." And she goes to give you a kiss on the cheek. And she says, "Now, where are we going?" And she starts walking down the path that you were about to walk down. over the course of the next couple of weeks, months, you begrudgingly accept this woman into your company at first, and then you realize she can handle herself in a fight, and somehow she's even more stubborn than you. And so a relationship blooms. She has pet names for you, far more than you. I think you, as a bard, eventually it clicks that like you've got a girlfriend and you're traveling on the road with a girlfriend, and so you kind of take your hand at some kind of power punk love ballads, and you play her a couple of songs, and she's your biggest fan. She gives you feedback on your artwork, and she loves your music. She thinks that you're the coolest, and you have a companion. You have someone that you're with, which makes the moment when she disappears with your musical instrument all the more gut-wrenching. And we talked about this. Did you for a moment think that maybe she was kidnapped with it, or did you immediately suspect that she betrayed you?
Thack wouldn't care. He began tracking her.
Single-minded, focused on that musical instrument.
Regardless of how or why it happened,
right.
That doesn't matter.
So it's an extremely disconcerting thing and very discombobulating when Gara steps into the room with the guard that just ran out the door, dragging him by the neck. He's unconscious. And she says, "Snack, quit screwing around. You're going to ruin everything." So we're going to pause right there with you, face to face with Gara, who has just helped you deal with the guard that ran out the door, saying, "Snack," which is her little nickname for you because she makes fun of you for how you eat your huge tucker. You smack a lot.
Big tusks.
Big tusks. So we're going to pause with you face to face with Gara right there. Ladies and gentlemen of the main party, Beja, you just watched Slaps Hamfast. Sorry, we're going to back up to Slaps. Slaps.
I'm Slaps.
All of the rest of your party believes in you. You got this, man. They believe in you so much that they've put their money where their mouth is and run away. And it's now you and a crazy alien that you've just shot twice, and a kooky old man who is now flailing around and yelling and screaming, "Oh, Jimmy, he's got my precious Lucille! Oh, Lucille!" So this guy's going crazy and waving his hands around, and it's your turn.
If I had any charisma, I would try to talk to that crazy old man, but instead, I will shoot at the alien cat again.
Nice. That sounds like a great plan. Fire back, haul back, and fire. Oh, make me a Constitution saving throw before you take your turn, though.
Okay. Dang, I rolled a natural 20 for my first attack roll. Constitution. There it is. Yeah, natural 20 for that, too. 2 nats in a row.
Don't even bother with the rest of the dice. Slaps you, kind of shake it off, and you see him kind of shake his ears, and droplets of blood go flying out of his ears, and you see his eyes go even wider, and he just peels back, and in rapid succession, you see a perfect square of arrows has pierced this thing, and you see it hit the ground, and old Coot Jenkins just falls down and buries his face on the side of it and starts crying over and petting Lucille. You see one of those mouths turn and latch onto his hand. He's slapping at it, but he's still crying and trying to pet it. It's dead. Oh man, it's gone. You had just lit this thing up in succession. Beja, you just watched Harcourt Fenton Mudd go running up this rickety structure and almost go crashing to the ground twice. What are you going to do?
Well, it's pretty clear to me that Slaps and I are now stuck in this pit of caged monsters, out of danger because the big baddie is toast. But we need to get out, and there's nowhere to climb. So I think it's time for me to turn into a beast, which is a thing I can do.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with giant bat because it can fly up and it can carry slaps. And if it turns out Harcourt is stuck on the failing climby thing,
sure,
we can swoop him up on the way too.
Okay,
that's my plan.
So you turn into a giant bat. You turn and you run. What's that?
Don't forget Gilead.
Oh,
Gilead,
sorry,
are
Gilead.
you back?
Yes, you
are
too.
You back, bud?
The bat carries you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Gilead, you just watched a bunch of arrows come flying out of the dark, and this cat that turned into a giant aberration has been pincushioned to death, and the crazy old man whom you pledged yourself in duplicitous indentured servitude or some form of internship is now weeping and wailing. He is Katalabane, fallen upon and kissing upon the neck of this fallen, perverse cat inside out thing.
All right. So first
process those emotions.
Yep. Gilead is going to be inherently very confused, but then he's going to look up and realize, wait a minute, that's not a good thing that the cat was evil. Maybe he's evil. So what he's going to do is he's going to smile, comically pull out a finger gun, and shoot the old man in the head with a firebolt.
Okie dokie then.
All right.
Roll to attack. You're at disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Yep.
Okay. 10.
Okay. You go to do this, and the guy just at the last second drops his head down crying, and a bolt of flame goes shooting out past his head.
Dang.
So Gilead, you're standing there, and a giant bat comes flying at you and goes to grab you by the arms. Make me an Arcana check.
Arcana.
Or a nature check.
Nature. Okay. This is an Arcana check.
Okay.
18.
Yeah, you recognize Bedja coming at you. You're familiar with the trace residual, self-adenic, fractal intertanglings of arcane polymorphic structures. You're a wizard. You study these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very good. You recognize Bedja, and you let her snatch you up, and she goes flying, and she's halfway up towards some sort of ledge, and you're watching Harcourt, try not to fall, and you see a tabaxi cat, emerging from the shadows. Very good. Thack, you and Boog, you turn. Boog, do you have any sensitivity at all to the fact that Thack is just been confronted by someone who knows him?
No, not really.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to check with you.
I'm going to try to break the hold.
Nice. Thack is eye to eye with someone he hasn't seen in 7 years, a while, and wrist to wrist with a bugbear. So you two gentlemen make me a contested athletics check.
I'm at advantage. That'll be a 21.
23.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, you see Boog get this grin on his face as he sees Thack distracted, and he's like, and he goes to pull his wrist up, and Thack just like pulls him down, and you see Boog's shoulders drop a couple of inches lower as his center of gravity gets even lower, and Thack has now pulled Boog down to his level, so Boog is like hunched over, or his knees are kind of wide, and he's lost some of the power of his stance.
Boog tries to headbutt him and misses.
Yeah, you just
his eyes are just
slam onto his
bing, bing, red, yellow, blue, green.
Yeah, you've headbutted the giant studded pad on his shoulder, right?
Yeah. He's grinning like he doesn't realize he was. He hasn't.
It's like, I really
He hasn't realized
am.
it's
Ugh. Imagine how bad his head must hurt.
I got you now. I got you now, Bard.
Thack,
You're coming down.
Thack, what do you
Let's
say
dance.
to this woman?
Let's dance.
I think
Boog insults your mother.
Thack is just sort of like holding him at arm's length, I guess.
Yeah, you've got him
And-
gripped and locked in a grapple.
Yeah.
You're holding on to him.
I'm holding on to him, and I say to her, "There you are. Where's my instrument?"
She looks at you, and you see her just like she sticks her jaw out, and she's like, "Focus. You rehearse this scenario. Okay. Here's the deal. These yahoos were supposed to be part of the distraction." Sorry, her voice is not that deep. She's not a full orcus. She's like, these yahoos were supposed to be part of the distraction. Now that you've beaten them unconscious to the verge of death, we're going to need to pivot, which means that you need to be them and they need to be replaced, which means that we have got approximately, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes to get at least something impressive from that warehouse up an elevator shaft and to the edge of the arena. Because if we don't put on a good show, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get the key from the harbor master. Sorry, she doesn't say harbor master. She says from the, I've got his title written down. We'll call him the harbor master for some quirky reason. So I don't need you to understand, but I do need you to do what I tell you to do. Drop this guy, get him on board, and come with me. And you see her boom, punch this guy who is just kind of turning like, and she just cold clocks him, drops him on the ground, walks up to the other guy, flips him over, cold cocks him, and turns to the other guy and pulls out a bag of gold and says, ching, ching, ching. She throws it to him, and the guy has just enough presence of mind to drop the shield and grab the bag. And she's like, you stay in this room. You don't move. I don't care if you have to pee. You pee your pants. You leave this room for the next hour. I'll find you and I'll kill you. Anybody comes here, you just say that a creature got loose from the back warehouse number 2. Do you understand? And the guy just kind of like fails his diplomacy check, and she intimidates the crap out of him. And you see him kind of pull the shield up over his head, and he just disappears into the smallest ball in the corner that he possibly can. And you see a little bit of pee come trickling down the floor. Very good. Back up to the top of the order, Slaps hand fast. You have killed this thing, and you're free to do whatever you'd like, but you just see Gilead get picked up by a giant bat and flown up towards the ledge that the rickety staircase leads up to.
Oh, I wasn't picked up also?
If you stand there and put your bow away and kind of put your hands on your fists or stick your hands up in the air like you want to be picked up, I'm sure that things will happen.
Hey, pick me up too. You might not have seen me.
All right. We'll take the next few seconds for all of you guys. Begus does multiple swooping passes and picks everybody up and deposits them on the landing. You are now a bat, which is interesting, which means that if you're a giant bat, your wings are pretty big. You're going to have a little bit of a hard time flying in some of these confined spaces. Fortunately, the breezeway that you guys go down, if you can call it a breezeway when it's encased in rock, the tunnel, the access tunnel, leads to another warehouse, a lot like the one that you just left. This one, however, seems to be much cleaner, and you see a couple of larger crates, and you hear some pretty gnarly sounds and smells coming out of them. And at the end of the warehouse, which is about 60 feet away, you see two gentlemen, and they are playing cards. And they turn and they look at you and they freeze. Do you want to do anything, Beja, to these gentlemen from 60 feet away?
I don't think they're any threat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm content just getting close to them, like swoop in their direction and see what actions they take and then respond accordingly.
Okay.
I'm also not that worried about flying underground. I'm an underground kind of creature, and bats are underground kind of creatures.
Yeah, I just meant literally in that hallway, your wings wouldn't be able to open up because it was only like 5 feet wide. But in this open warehouse, you do. You fly over them, and you see them kind of cower down, and they don't have any bows or weapons or anything to throw at you. And so they just kind of get down underneath the table, and one of them grabs a chair and pulls it over himself. So that's your turn and theirs. Harcourt, Fenton, Mudd, what do you do? Uh-oh. We may have lost to Sir Robert. If you're there, you're muted, sir.
Don't worry, he's running into some mic difficulties with extra sound. He'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Harcourt, Fenton, Mudd, I think probably is going to defer. We'll see. Gilead, Black Gallo, you're there. What does Gilead do? Oh. Okay. Harcourt, what do you do? Yeah, Sparkles, Beja. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Yep. So you see that kind of the side of the wall, the west side of the wall, is actually this kind of elevator thing, this big platform that goes up, and there's a big kind of doorway. There's a ledge that that you can get stuff off of, and then it goes down the out this big giant square kind of barn door looking aperture. Yeah. So do you want to try to get up on top of that ledge? Okay. Make me an acrobatics check to basically do a acrobatic, flip, being released by Beja like a trapeze artist flung up onto the platform. Make me a Constitution saving throw. You were missing before, so I didn't make you do it. Yep, you're good. So yeah, make me an acrobatics check. Not at disadvantage. Okay, excellent. You do. You flip and land on your tiptoes at the edge of the ledge, surveying a room down below you and before you, full of very large wooden boxes that seem to be reinforced to heck and back. They've got iron bands over the edges of them, and it looks like they're made of beams of wood, not planks, like 8x8 beams. Okay. Gilead, Black Gallo. I think at this point you've got a couple of minions that are cowering under a table and a chair, and they seem to be terrified.
Okay, then. Minions as in, like, minions that are on our side, or just terrified?
These are employees of the institution. They're indigenous. They're endemic to the dungeon.
Okay. I'm going to look under the table with slight curiosity and a lot of amusement, and then I'm just going to look up and see which way should lead to the treasure vault.
You see that Harcourt Fenton Mudd has already showed you the way. He is up on top of a ledge about 40 feet up.
Okay.
20 feet up. 20 feet up.
I'm going to ask him, How far until the vault?
Beja and you're asking Harcourt. Harcourt, you kind of make me a survival check or a nature check, whichever you just yeah. Okay. Survival would be ideal. Okay. You're like you see Harcourt point over his shoulder behind him. He's like that he knows that it's that way. Yeah. So Harcourt, you and all of your friends, the camera zooms away from you back over to Thak, Boog, and Gara. And you see you see Gara kind of wave at you. Yes.
Here's how Thak wants to respond to Gara's command.
Yep. She said, I don't need you to understand. I just need you to do as you're told. Follow me.
Here's what Thak wants to do.
Sure.
Wait,
And I'm hoping to
Thak go
pitch
before
this
Boog?
to the DM in such a way that it will be a performance check.
Okay.
Thak
Boog,
wants
you're going to
to
get a chance to act just as soon as Thak tells me what he's going to do. Go ahead.
Thak wants to perform the most romantic, passionate, evocative kiss that is evocative of all the time that they spent together.
Oh, man. You're pulling out the waterfall smooch. The
He
only
wants to,
truly
like-
perfect smooch you ever pulled off. She
Like
teased you because
spin
it was
her
never...
and spin her and dip her
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
Some move like this.
Sure.
Just a real
Sure. She goes to
performance
run
check?
away, and you just grab her off of her feet, pull her
like
to
grab her by
yourself.
the hand and pull her back to me and
Sure.
like spin her.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Make me a athletics check to initiate this. This is going to be a combined check.
Okay.
What you're trying to do is going to take athletics and performance. So first, make me the athletics check. Yeah.
13 plus 11 is 24.
Yeah, she just kind of like, she doesn't quite ragdoll, but she just kind of pivots and she just spins in your arms like a dance partner.
Here's the performance check. Ouch. 4 plus 14 is still 18.
Okay, but I love that you rolled about as low as you can. That I wish you had rolled a 1, but I'm not gonna, impose disadvantage on you for the sake of the story. So yeah, you nearly come in too hot with one of your tusks, and you correct at the last second.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't ruin it, and sure enough, but you catch yourself. And you see her just grab you and pull you, and she kisses you back.
This is to evoke any feelings of loyalty she may have had.
Sure, that's kind of a sociopathic thing for you to say to me right now, and that's hurting my brain. But no, I'm just kidding. I think
Thak
in the
does
moment,
not know what her deal is.
Yeah,
So he's pulling on whatever
Sure.
thread is available.
sure.
When he lets her up, he says, "Do they have my instrument here?"
She's like, oh my gosh, yes, follow me. And as she starts walking away, she says, all right, you, and she looks over at Boog and she's like,
Boog.
are you coming, big guy?
So he's Thak let go of Boog.
Yeah, Thak let go of Boog to go
Okay,
and
good.
kiss her.
Yeah. So Boog goes out of his rage, and he's just sort of like, what?
She's like,
And then he
do
pulls-
you want
he
to
pulls-
make that
he pulls out a
distraction?
cigar, and while Thak is pulling his move, in the other hand he takes his axe and just goes wailing on the table in the middle of the room, just turns it into tinder.
You see her, she's walking. and
That's why my performance check was so bad. This dude is 10 feet away, smashing the furniture to pieces.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not romantic.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like that kiss backlit by gunshots and bombs and fireworks, but instead it's just this angry.
And then
you hear
finishes up and like jams the cigar back in his mouth and looks at the two and goes, "Your kid's done."
She kind of adjusts her neck and says, "Yes. Now, that distraction you were wanting to make, it's still vital to the plan." And she says, as
You
she's
want a
walking away from
distraction?
you, "Yes.
I can do
Did
that.
cousin
I'm gonna run past her up the stairs.
Cousin
Run past her
Carmelio
through the
gave you
door.
all the intel, right?" And she's looking over her shoulder at you guys as she's walking.
I'm already gone. I run past her through the door.
Okay, so Boog, you guys, Harcourt, Fenton, Mud, you hear a pounding of large, heavy, ominous footsteps coming up, and you see Boog Bayar come running up on you, and you are kind of face to face with the muscle / distraction of the plan.
When Boog,
What do you say?
Boog sees them and he kind of skids to a halt, leaving, nail tracks in the floor. And he yanks the cigar out of his mouth and says, "Wait, you weren't part of the distraction. You're in the wrong place. What are you doing here?"
And you see Gara come walking up on Thak and Boog talking to each other, and she says, "It's all right. Everything is neutralized for this floor. But if we're going to get that key, I need someone with the hands to lift it. I can make the distraction, or at least we can." And she points as she punches Boog and Thak in the chest with her gauntleted fists.
I hit her back.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's useful for the back access hatch if you want to go out the sewers. I was thinking more about the vault itself. And so she says, "Ah, okay, I see. Wow." And she's like, "Just tell me, in the packet that Carmelio gave you, was there a scarlet wax-sealed scarlet paper envelope?" And no, none of you remember seeing anything like that. Beja, you would have recognized and remembered something with any amount. No. And she's like, "I'm going to kill him. I'm going to skin him alive. Oh, his skin is going to be crispy. Okay, so here's the deal. I need you to be the fingers." And she looks at you, Harcourt. "And I need you to be the distraction on the field to give Harcourt the best moment he can possibly have." She's saying this locked eyes with you, Beja. And she says, "And he is going to need one heck of a bodyguard, of a shadow. Do you understand me?" And she looks in the eyes of the tabaxi. And she turns to Boog and Thak and says, "And the three of us need to put on the best damn battle we've ever put on for money." And she says, "Now get that pachycephal," or not pachy. She says, "Now get that raptor." And she points down at the ground, and you see that there is a giant wooden box with a painted kind of picture of a raptor on it, and the word Velociraptor, and it's crossed out, and it's DNKSS. And that's kind of scratched out, but you see the picture of the dinosaur and you can hear the crazy loud roar of a predatory sauropod coming out of this box. And it just has to be pushed onto the elevator and lifted up and pushed off. That's all you got to do. And at 8:58, I think that's probably where we're going to pause, actually, because we need to take a little 10-minute break. So now that I've completely lost all narrative momentum, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for part 1 part 1 of part 3 of Interlude 2 between seasons 2 and 3 of the Starfall Collective. We'll see you in about 10-15 minutes. Welcome back to part 2 of Interlude 2 between seasons 2 and 3 of the Starfall Collective Mud's Baubles. When last we left our intrepid heroes, they had unexpectedly and suddenly come together with another member of their party, one Gara, a personal beau, flame, partner in not crime, but travels with Thak. Harcourt, you would have recognized her immediately. You see that she is the same woman who helped you out at the bar and made sure that you got a little bit of extra earnings that Garn, the owner of the Whistling Pig, would have otherwise not paid you.
Right.
And she was also helpful to you, although you chose to just steal all the stuff right out from underneath her nose so that you wouldn't have to actually deal with her.
Somebody did. It happens.
Anyway, Harcourt, Thak, Gara, and Boog, and Beja, and Gilead, and the Tabaxi are all assembled on top of this platform. And you guys see that down below on the floor is a raptor and in a giant box. And Gara has just said that it is necessary for the plan for this box to be brought up this elevator that is in the near wall. So you guys are basically standing at the top of this platform. The elevator goes up and down between the floor of the warehouse that you guys just got out of, warehouse number 2. And so that is the physical layout of the scene. What do you do? Oh, and by the way, in order to operate this elevator, there are 2 sets of wheels at the top and at the bottom. There's these 2 wheels so that 4 people total at once could be operating this winch system to raise this platform.
Were we expecting to see her here? Surprise to me, right?
Yeah, so at this point, this woman who you recognize but we're not expecting to be involved in the plan is now showing up and telling you what to do, right? And she turns to you and she says all these things to you about Harcourt. I need you to be the fingers. And she turns to the Tabaxi and says, you have got to have his back and provide some sort of cover and support. And she looks at you, Beja, and says, we need a distraction on top of a distraction if this is going to work. Look for the perfect opportunity to bring the diversion of diversions. And she says that herself, Thak, and Boog will be responsible for the other half of the distraction that will provide the opportunity for you to lift the vault key from the harbor master.
And based on Harcourt's intel that he had from his cousin before, does what she's saying mesh with his plan?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You know that the harbor master has the key, and that was always the thing that you were planning on doing, that really you were the person to do, is to lift that key. Because if not, then Gilead is going to have to do this the ugly way.
Right.
So.
Okay, so Harcourt basically is just going to continue with his plan. Let her think that she's running anything. He doesn't care at all about her, basically, and is a little bit wary of treachery. However, she seems to be pretty successfully managing.
Yeah, you heard her say that the 3 of them had neutralized everyone on this floor.
Yeah, but she seems to pretty well be managing the Chaos Axe guy. I forgot Dave's name.
Boog. Yeah.
Boog, yes.
Well, you give her credit for that, but really that's probably more Thak's doing. But yes.
Well, yeah. Either way, Harcourt's just happy to have that situation relatively handled, and so he just is ready to proceed to the harbor master person.
Thak says to Harcourt, I don't know if she's trustworthy, but she seems to know what she's doing. What should I do? I'm sorry?
You say that in front of her?
Yeah, I say it to you in front of her.
Harcourt just says, keep on with the plan. Everything she said is what we were doing anyway.
Got it,
Anyone's Beja, you can make me a insight check. Tabaxi, you can too. Slaps Hamfast. And Gilead,
Insight?
I suppose you can as well. The three of you can. An insight
You say
check.
insight?
Yep. So you've got a. You should have. Isn't that Matt? Matt would have said.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, insight. That's a real check.
I've got a 19.
7.
Okay. And Gilead, are you rolling an insight check?
I just did.
What'd you get?
16.
16. Okay. So Slaps, you and Gilead see that she is very stern, but Beja, you notice like just a slight moment, just a dip, but you see a little bit of pain in her eyes for just a split second.
Okay.
What's that? You're muted. Okay, nothing. You're good. Okay. Yeah, very good. So she runs over to the platform and hits a lever, and you see it go down to the ground level. I think she grabs, she waves for Thak and Boog to come over to the platform.
I follow her.
Yeah. Boog, do you go?
Yep.
Okay, and then she hits the lever, and the three of you guys go down, and you hit the ground, and she runs over behind this pallet, and you see that it's actually got little wooden slats or dowels, little wooden dowels all along. So it's not really like a conveyor belt, but she's just kind of pushing it over these poles. And she gets behind it. She's like, "Come on!" And she gets her shoulder to it. Do you guys also push?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All of you guys make me athletics checks. Or you two. Yeah.
How's the 29?
Whoa.
Ouch. Oh, crud.
Did you roll a 1?
Maybe.
Nice. You see Gara and Thak.
Boog puts his hand through
Yeah.
the slat into the cage.
Yeah, you go to put your hands up against it, and your arms just boom, break through the wood, and your legs go flying out from underneath you. So you're now like pinned, dangling by your arms,
A hand stuck inside the cage.
Yeah. And yeah, you feel a enormous mouth full of razor sharp teeth bite down on your left forearm as you take 4 points of piercing damage. Yeah. Gara and Thak like single-handedly just, and you see Gara like look up at you as this thing is moving, and she with like this bewilderment, and you hear her mutter something like, "I don't remember superhuman strength being on the list," and you just vroom, in one single movement push it all the way onto the platform, and then she runs over and tries to grab Boog and tries to start pulling on him and getting him out.
Can I try to grapple the thing inside?
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Boog takes the other arm and like, he's, is like trying to grab the head and pry it off. Make me a contested strength check, because you can get your hand on this thing's head, no problem.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Go ahead.
That's not great. I got a 13.
Well, it rolled a natural 20, so you grab it by the snout, and it whips out of your grasp, and you have the sickening realization that you can't see inside the crate, but it can, and it just pulled its head free. So you about to get bit
Again.
Yeah, make me a contested dexterity check.
All right. With disadvantage?
Nope, just a contested dexterity check.
Wow. That's a 7.
Okay,
Probably 1.
you go to pull your arm, and your arm gets stuck a little bit, and you pull it out. You feel the hot breath on your hand, and you feel the lips of this thing. They're not very thick, but you feel the side of the teeth on your fingertips as you feel a enormous clapping shut of jaws, and you pull your hand out and you go,
Ooh, I like that hand. I'm glad I still got that hand.
1, 2. Still there.
that's right. There you go.
All
Bring
right,
the teeth snap together.
2. Okay.
We're good.
Wow.
Come on, back. He looks at the other two and what?
Yeah, you notice he has more than 2 fingers on that hand. Why he stopped at 2 and went okay, who knows? But anyway, yeah, so you guys start pulling on these cranks. To Mr. Slaps Handfast and Gilead, you
It's
two
me.
look at each other and you look at Beja and Harcourt, and you kind of shrug and head over to the 2 giant wheels, I take it, because Gara is like, guys, I need you up top too. I think, and she turns and looks at Thack and is like, no. All right, so Thack, Gara, Slaps, and Gilead, I need you guys to all make me athletics checks.
Okay.
Garfunkel.
17.
17?
7.
5.
17, 7. Okay, yeah, you guys all pull on this, and it just doesn't move. And she lets go, and she turns at you, and she says, I hope you didn't use up whatever it is that you have, but put some back into it. And she says, on 3, 1, 2,
Oh, wait.
3. Okay.
As before she starts counting, I'm going to start chanting like an orc song,
Nice.
like
Nice.
like an ancient orc melody, which is
Add a D8 to the check, right?
yes, I'm going to have bardic inspiration to add a D8 to my
Sweet.
strength check here.
This is
My
an
athletics
excellent
check
time
here.
to use this.
Ooga
Magnificent.
chaka, ooga ooga.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, now I'm ready. Let's go.
Everybody roll those athletics checks and add a D8.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, I mean, it's only for me, the ability, but you can give it to them too if you want.
You've got the ability to give it to other people in the group.
Yeah, but I only spent 1.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I could give it. I mean, if this doesn't seem like the ultimate confrontation, I don't want to spend all 3 of
That's
my
fair.
remaining.
That's fair.
12.
Ouch.
Where are we rolling? I
Okay.
have a 19 or 27 based on what y'all are talking about.
Okay. You guys, Zach, what's yours?
24 total.
Excellent. You guys pull on this and you feel something click loose, and you just start pulling end over end, and you see Thack just and you guys are all kind of pulling to keep up. And the platform with the angry dinosaur just goes straight up, and you feel it click into place, and all the tension goes off of the levers that you guys are pulling on. So yeah, Thack, give me one more athletics check.
That last one was to crank the elevator to
Yeah,
pull
and you
the...
got it fully up all the way.
Okay.
You guys all together, don't even bother. You guys all together, you move it together. You've got so many hands that everybody pushing just kind of scooches it over, and you start pushing it down, and then you see that there is in fact a little track in the floor, and it lands on that, and you push it, not effortlessly, but much more easily. And you push it. You push it down this like long hallway, and you see Gara saying, "Okay, here, just wait here, wait." And she runs over to Harcourt and everybody. I assume you guys are all keeping up. She's been waving you to follow along. She points you down a hallway, and she says, all right, you're going to go down this hallway, and you're going to take the third left. That third left is going to lead you into a sort of utility bay area. The harbor master always oversees the fights from there. He's got kind of a view from the cages at the ground floor of the fight. There will be probably a couple of other guards in the area with him, but it's just passages and corridors and closets, and it's too complicated to explain. As long as you've got, and she points at Slaps and says, Slaps, and she points at Gilead and says, Gilead and Beja with you. You'll be okay. You'll be able to handle anything that gets thrown at you. I'm pretty sure. Your reputation precedes you. And she turns to you guys and she says, we have a little bit of a show to put on. Wait here. And so she pushes the crate. You and Thack, you get her a little bit of speed going, and she pushes it the rest of the way, and you see her disappear down the corridor, and then she comes running back about a minute later, and she says, everything's in play. Let's go. And she waves to you two, and you run down this semicircular corridor that makes this big arc until you run what feels like kind of around to the far side of a huge circle. And you hear a bunch of murmuring and talking, and you hear some people cheering and yelling, and you see that there is this iron kind of portcullis grated gate in front of you, and beyond it is a enormous sand pit, and in the center of it you see some sort of announcer type person who is wearing a gaudy colored costume with little bells dingling off the top of his head. But he's also wearing like kind of dignified looking robes. And you hear him yelling,
And now, ladies and gentlemen, what you've all been waiting for, the main event of the night, the heroes, brothers, and...
wait, I just realized I was about to reuse that last name.
the brothers Megatroy shall show you feats of battle, daring, and prowess against a mystery monster tonight. That will even up the odds for some of you, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, your heroes.
And you see him point to down in y'all's direction, and you see Gara suddenly, in a panic, whip out a wand, and she slings it in your face, Thack, and you physically appear like one of those guys that you just beat the ever-loving tar, well, that Boog beat the ever-loving tar out of. And she whips it at you, Boog, and you look like the guy who you first just cold-cocked, the guy in the kind of shiny-looking armor. And she does it on herself, and she looks like the guy with the shield. And she says, guys, give it everything you've got. Give them a good show. And you see the portcullis go up, and she goes in and she sticks out her arms and holds up her weapon and her shield and starts pumping them up in the air and starts beating her weapon against her shield as she's walking around the perimeter of the pit.
Yeah,
Boog, Thack,
this is Thack's. This environment is the air that Thack breathes. He gets out into under the lights, in the stare of all the spectators, and comes alive. He is like glam posing every which way.
Nice.
He is showing off. He's flaunting his raw physicality. He's like leading the crowd in like chants and stuff.
Nice.
This is the performance. He's making a performance.
Yeah, people seem to be calling you Ulif, and when people start chanting Ulif, Ulif, you kind of pick up on that and you get them whipped up, and pretty soon that's the predominant cheer in the room.
The chant that he's doing is another bardic inspiration. And is this another performance check?
I was going to say I would like for you to make me a performance check as you ply your bardly wares upon a gullible and excitable crowd.
Here comes.
Oh, do so with
boy.
advantage. You have help from Gara on this performance.
Thank you.
Yes. She is helping you and is kind of like hyping you and, shoring up the crowd
much
where
better.
good.
15 plus 3 plus 14.
I'm sorry. 18 plus 14?
No. Yes. Yeah. So I rolled
32.
a 15 plus 3 is 18 plus
32.
14 is my performance modifier.
Bonus? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So there is a gnome who is working up in the rafters with this
32.
Yep, with this fairy light can, and he is like got this going on you, and you see that he has, pulled out of the stops and helped you out and cast some prestidigitation. So there's like showering motes of sparks and smoke in the air, and you work the crowd perfectly. You read them like a living thing. You pump this one up a little bit, and then you bring the energy over here. But then you go to the guys who are in the back, and you're their hero. And then you go over and you make some sort of kind of slightly mocking gesture towards the part of the crowd that's obviously the most affluent. And you go over to the part of the crowd that's a little more normal. You're like, get a load of these guys. And, I mean, they're going insane for you. Everybody loves
I'm
it.
including my teammates too. I'm exaggerating Boog.
Yeah.
I'm getting the spotlight on him. I'm throwing the spotlight onto Gara. I'm emceeing the whole thing.
You see a group of women at one corner. They point at Boog and they go, "Oh, he's even bigger than I remember. He's so tall." Oh. You see a group of young men. They reach out to you, Ulif, and they're asking for high fives. Like, I want to be just like you. Yeah.
Do I think that this spell is going to? Oftentimes, if you have an illusion on you, people touching you will know that it's an illusion. Will they touch an orc instead of a human?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to make a perception check.
I don't high five them if I think they will touch an orc.
Okay, well, you see Boog do it. You see Boog slap these guys' hands.
No. Boog's not.
Boog's too smart too.
Boog's too smart too.
Boog walks into when Boog walks into the arena, he's just kind of loping along.
Sure.
And he pulls a cigar out of who knows where and jams it in his mouth and starts chewing on it. And he just scowls at the whole arena. And then he lopes over to the MC and just scowls at him and starts kind of stalking around him.
Nice.
Just looking angry and mean. He says, "Where's the fight, old man?"
And you see the guy who's emceeing says,
"Well, it appears that our heroes are ready."
And he yanks on this cord, and you see him go up to that top rafter where that gnome is up there. And you see a bunch of smoke emanate from the far side grate where that dinosaur is. And you see this grate lift up, and you see this thing come stomping out, and it's the biggest velociraptor you've ever seen. It's much bigger than a normal velociraptor. It's not a T-Rex, but it's like 10 feet tall, and you see that it's covered in these plate mail barding pieces that have spikes and razors sticking off of them, and you see that his talons glow with a magical energy.
While it's coming out, Thak is giving his last bardic inspiration to Boog.
Okay.
So Boog, sometime in the next 10 minutes, you can add a D8 to an attack roll or ability check.
Okay.
So you guys see Harcourt, Beja, Slaps, Gilead. You guys come up. You take the advice. You take that third left. And as you come down that corridor, it opens up into, you can hear the sound when you open up this final door. You can hear the wave of sound muted because it's coming through rafters and some layers of wood and stuff. But you can hear the yell of the crowd, and you can hear an announcer, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen," and then you hear, and you hear raucous screaming and cheering. And you see up ahead a large, portly man in baby blue flowing robes with a big gold thread belt around his waist. And you see him kind of ordering people around, and you're kind of watching for a moment, and you see there's kind of a lull in the coming and going of people, and he's there by himself. And you see him kind of leaning against the bars, kind of looking out at the crowd, and you see him, he's just staring transfixed, and you see he's completely engrossed. And you see, indeed, a ring of keys that looks pretty similar to the ring of keys that you've already got, but you also see a very, very sturdily affixed satchel that looks very official. And Harcourt, roll me a perception check, please. Or insight, if you so choose.
Roger Wilco. Let's see.
In fact, all of you in that room, Beja, Slaps, Gilead, all of you roll me perception checks. Harcourt, why don't you give me an insight check?
Nat 20.
I prefer perception. What do you want?
Okay.
Is that all right?
Insight is what you need to be rolling right now.
Okay, I roll insight. Okay, well, it was an 18.
Okay. Yeah, you get a pretty good read on this guy. Body language and everything tells you that he is, that's the important satchel. If he's got a vault key or something like that, he probably doesn't have it in his robes or something like that. They're too flowy. He needs it secured somewhere. That pouch looks like your mark.
Deal.
Beja, what did you get for your perception check? Was it in the 20s? Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, Slaps, you and Beja both immediately recognize, what's that? Oh, Matt, I thought you were saying something. You guys both...
Aaron, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Nope, I'm unmuted now. I was muted this previous. We're good.
Yeah.
Jacob would like to speak.
It was the Helen Keller audio hour. We...
Gilead wants to do something.
Oh, Gilead, yes. Sorry.
How many people are in the room?
Just this guy that you can see. What was your perception check?
21.
Excellent. So all three of you see that there is a like some sort of small dog curled up in the corner sleeping, and all three of you recognize that as the problem of the moment, that if that dog trips the alarm, that could be a problem.
Pretty good with animals.
Okay.
You may have a better plan.
Before anyone does anything, I'm going to cast Sleep at 3rd level on the dog specifically.
Okay, very good.
I've had bad experience with these kind of pet monstrosities before.
And Harcourt wants to try to hide.
Yeah. So Sleep being a hit dice based thing, you see the dog is, you see it just, it like collapses into a puddle of sleep. It is unconscious. It is in a coma. You made a sleeping dog enter a light coma.
And then on top of that, I cast Animal Messenger on the dog, so it is forced to wake up and go 25 miles a day away to deliver my message.
Okay, you see the dog fall into a comatose level of sleep, and then you see it kind of sleepwalk. It its eyes aren't even really open. It's just kind of moving on instinct. It's kind of bumping into walls, and you see it kind of, when it starts to walk, it starts to kind of veer off, and it starts, sliding against the wall. It just goes past you guys, sliding against the wall, trying to sleepwalk away from you.
Knowing our luck, the dog is the noble, and the monster is the noble guy sitting in the chair.
the three of you, actually all four of you, roll me perception checks.
22.
27.
19.
17.
Yep. With a DC 25 check, Harcourt Fit and Mud, you look down and you notice that this dog has a abnormally large name tag thing down there at the bottom, and you reach down and you just zip. Make me a sleight of hand check, just for fun.
Sure.
Sure.
Let's see.
With advantage, because the poor thing is asleep. It's sleepwalking. You have advantage on the check.
In that case,
it's practically helping you pickpocket it.
I rolled a 15, so 28.
Yeah, you just, with one fluid motion, unbuckle the hasp, pop it open, take the tension off, and just slip the thing off its neck. And you see Harcourt is standing there holding a key dangling from the collar, and he looks, you guys look at each other. Does anyone say anything?
No, we just tiptoe out, I think.
Yeah, you guys tiptoe backwards, and you turn around and you realize that if you basically just go back the way you came, you're pretty sure you saw the corridor. One of those corridors that you passed on the other side led straight into the heart of the fortress. And so sure enough, you guys do that. Everybody make me stealth checks in the group.
How's it 25?
I'm a 15.
Okay.
I got 18.
18.
I'm currently in bat mode right now, so I kind of am like step, flap, 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 step, flap, flap, flap.
Have you been a bat this whole time?
Yes, it's been very hard.
But you're like a 4 foot tall bat, right? Or a 3 foot tall bat. You're
Yeah,
enormous.
giant for bat, but
Yeah.
hard to.
So I think bats can kind of walk on their forearms and stuff, so you can knuckle walk. Okay. And did I get one from Jacob, or did I get one from the Tabaxi?
Yeah, 25.
Yes, all high. And Sir Robert, you got, I'm sure, in the 20s.
It was a 14 because I rolled a 1.
The three of you, at various different points, like scuff your feet or like bump into something, and you see the Tabaxi just instinctively like flick a rock out down the hall, or make another sound that kind of muffles it, and
Nice.
he is just perfectly accounting for any little tiny mistake that you guys make in terms of sound, which is good, because at one point you do see a group of 4 guards go, come on, I want to hurry, I don't want to miss it, and they are walking past, and there was an opportunity for them to notice you.
Is that including or except Harcourt? Because I got a critical failure.
Oh, you rolled a 1?
Yeah.
And so your total check was a
14.
14. Yeah, that's with that. I mean, at one point, Harcourt literally trips and falls, and he's laying flat on the ground, and the Tabaxi just reaches out, grabs him by the ankle, and zip, pulls him out of the hallway just as the guys walk by.
When there was only one set of footprints down that hallway, it was when Flaps Hamfast
Carried me.
the 300-pound Tabaxi was carrying you.
That's right. But yeah, the 25 is enough to compensate for the failure of another person in the party, and your other 2 members pulled their weight. So yeah, you guys, sure enough, you come up to this alarm. Oh my gosh, you guys come up to this wall of the vault, and there's just this enormous keyhole and an enormous wheel to turn.
Let's do it.
Stick the key in.
So as you stick the key in, make me a Arcana check.
I can do that. Let's see. Well, it's not great, but let's see what happens. Wow, I rolled an 18, so a 19.
19. You realize, and make me a reflex saving throw.
Sleight of hand? I don't know what reflex saving throw would be.
Oh, sorry. Yes, make me either a sleight of hand check or a reflex check.
I will
A
do
dexterity
my
Such
check.
thing as
Dexterity
reflex.
check.
Do you need a
check.
dexterity saving throw?
Yes, I do need a dexterity saving throw. Thank you, Matthew.
Great.
I can talk word English. Good. Night long all.
17.
Word English. Word English.
Yeah. So you have this flooding sensation run through your arm, into your chest, through your spine, down through your toes, and you realize in a split millisecond that if you engage this key without saying something out loud, you are going to experience something intense. There's a lot of power behind whatever war you're about to trip here.
Slaps would like to go back to that room and rifle through that pouch that you mentioned was nailed to the wall
Oh, no. There's a pouch on the guy's hip.
on his hip. Okay,
On
I'll
his
rifle
belt.
through that.
On his belt. Okay. So you stealth your way back over. I'm not even going to make you stealth for it, but I will make you make a stealth check to get into the room up next to him and a sleight of hand check to pickpocket him.
Another 25 for the stealth and a 22 for the sleight of hand.
Okay, yeah. You palm a leather book out of there. You also palm a coin purse and another purse and some sort of like stick-like object. So you now have 2 bags, a leather bound notebook, and a magic item that's about 8 inches long, and it's some sort of little tube rod-like thing.
Nice. I resolve back, whatever the opposite of dissolve is, into the other room and hand all that stuff over to
Okay.
Harcourt. This
You,
might help.
Beja, you see that wallet, and I'm pretty sure you would instinctively reach out for it. Beja, this thing makes it into your hands by DM magic because it's 950. Roll me a either investigation check or roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Oh, a 10.
A 10.
Yeah.
You're flipping through and you're like, oh, it's all his personal notes, but it's like everything. There might actually be a password in here. Gilead, make me a wisdom check.
Oh boy. Just straight wisdom or
Straight wisdom.
does a 7 suffice? I would like to include that Gilead tries to act smug and knows what he's doing.
He's like, well, it's probably on the front or back page because, he would need to find it.
Obviously.
Obviously. Harcourt, you reach out and get your mitts on this thing, and you're kind of all 3 standing around looking at it. Make me a perception check.
Okie dokie. 18.
Yeah, you notice, you stop at one point, and you notice that the front folio of the outer board of the wrapped leather stuff, there's a little bit of play to it that you pinch it and you kind of pull it open and you kind of pull on stuff and sure enough you pull out a little crib sheet of passwords and you see words crossed out and you see flalalali-hoo, which is like gobbledygook. You don't speak goblin, but floddy-doddy-hoo appears to be the last thing that hasn't been crossed out.
And Harcourt, full of confidence, says, here it is, and is ready to try it.
Okay, so you walk over and you say this word. Make me an Arcana check.
Okie dokie. 6.
Nice. Yeah, you kind of clear your throat and say, "Flolly holly hoo." Oops. And you say that as you click your hand and you feel not the full force of it, but you feel like you kind of maybe flubbed the pronunciation a little bit, and it kind of partially triggers the ward. and you only take 18 points of electricity / lightning / shocking damage.
In fairness, it was the ward that was not good at hearing.
That's right. It's true. It's true. You. But in fact, you hear a click, and you go to turn on the wheel, and you see, as you pull it open, you see in front of you a room, a 12 by 12 cube full of columns of just piles of cash and coins and vases and magic and weapons, and you see crates that are full of these, what look to be like guild folios and bank communications and all sorts of like financial stuff, and you see just a huge glass container full of just gems.
Harcourt's going to go straight in first and try to find his first priority is actually not for his cousin. It is for Thak's guitar, as it were, and his second priority is the lists he was sent to get.
Okay, everybody, make me just perception checks to quickly loot the place.
13.
28.
I would like to. I have a sort of stone that allows me to summon a elemental when placed on the ground. I would like him to come and help me, loot the place.
Okay, excellent. So where
One
do
caveat.
where do you summon him?
I'm going to summon him just outside the door.
Okay.
However, it just has to be an elemental whose challenge rating is 5 or lower.
5. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I checked, and
Yeah,
a
I believe
creature
you.
called a Zorn can be
Nice.
summoned.
Absolutely.
It eats magic items, gold, precious metals, diamonds, all of that stuff. So after
Nice.
we're done looting it of all its magical things, I'm going to tell it feeding frenzy and have it devour everything.
Okay.
Leaving no
Interesting.
trace.
Okay.
Harcourt thinks he might get in trouble for this, but what can you do? I mean,
Certainly not things.
before that guy eats everything, he remembers that his brother, what was his name, Cornholio,
Yeah.
mentioned that Harcourt himself was allowed to take 6 or 7 things. He wasn't sure how many, but so he wants to grab a few things on the way out.
Beja, make me a wisdom saving throw.
Alrighty. I mean, I think there's some plus to this eat it all up plan. It disguises what we actually stole.
Exactly.
I'm willing, but we're supposed. Harcourt said,
Yeah, we'll still get in trouble for it.
"Yeah, we're supposed to leave something." If they actually do leave everything, by the way, Harcourt's going to try to start a fire so that he doesn't get into trouble.
Oh, I can help with that. I'm good at that. I got a 15 on a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, very good. You kind of are looking around through stuff, and there is this little idol of a squat little monkey holding like this, what looks to be like a tourmaline or something. It's this intense, glistening, smoky, amber, brown champagne, multicolored precious gem that's faceted, and you just start coming into, and you're like, whoa, 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 and you realize you're being literally sucked into the aura of this thing, but you check yourself.
Before
What do you
you
do?
wreck yourself?
I'm probably going to have the Zorn eat that one first. It's definitely a danger.
So that's Beja that happened to. Sorry, I don't know if I misspoke.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
just didn't hear.
Okay, so Beja,
Are you
what do
waiting
you
for an
do?
action from me?
Yeah, I'm waiting for an action from you. What do you do? Do you take this statue? Do you take something else? Are you looking for anything in particular?
So I don't have hands right now, but I am totally prepared to be loaded up and fly away.
Okay.
I could take that piece of wax leather from the old guy and
Okay.
drop something in it and carry that in my mouth.
Oh, that's right. I don't know who has that in their inventory though. Yeah, you reach out and you just like, yeah, you can just like reach out and bite this thing, and you just like kind of get it in your jaws, and it's kind of it's heavy in your mouth, but your jaws can wrap around it at the smallest point. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm more scared of it or more enthralled by it. Yeah, I think I am not in my smartest frame of mind. I'm going to take the scary thing.
okay, very good. So your predatory bat instincts kick in, and you just reach out and smack that into your gob. Yeah, Sir Robert, what did you roll for that perception check to loot the place?
Sorry, I was muted. 28.
28. You just like whip out your little list and you just start going grocery shopping. You see a long, slender, like music instrument kind of case that looks like it's covered in like black and green shimmering alligator skin, and you click the little clasps on it and you lift it open, and it's like the temple of like the Ark of the Covenant is like shining up at you. This thing is just putting off glowing, scintillating magic light and energy. You clasp that closed, and it's even got a strap on it. You throw it around your back. It is comically oversized for you, but you manage to kind of like bring the buckle down and cinch it real tight, so it's sticking up, a good foot above your head and sticking way down almost to your feet. But you're a hardy guy. Gnomes are far more strong and tough than people give them credit for.
Yep.
And you go through and you find a few other items. How many items do you fill your pockets with?
Well, my cousin told me I was allowed to take 6 or 7. I'm sure he wouldn't mind maybe 8 or 9. So
very good.
9 items.
9 items. All right, write down the number 9, and at some point later tonight, or maybe as a prelude for tomorrow, next week, I'll tell you all the items that Harcourt got. But he manages to snatch and rifle through all these things. You guys, we cut back to Thak, Boog, and Gara. And Thak, Boog, tell me the kinds. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I don't want to like as the guy goes out, and the Boog isn't gonna wait for things like gates to open or anything.
Sure.
Before things start, I'm gonna go into a rage just immediately.
Nice.
And then so Boog has the surprise attack racial trait. So I want to try to catch this thing as it's coming out of the gate to get that surprise attack on it. So what do I need to do that?
You just need to roll me a contested reflex check to see which of the two, because the gate's coming open at the same time.
Yeah.
So because you're trying to specifically do this, I'm going to give you a dexterity. Sorry. Make me an opposed dexterity check.
Okay. And I am going to use my inspiration on this one.
Okay.
That is a 19.
Well, this thing rolled in the 20s. It rolled a natural 20 plus stuff. So you see this thing come out with its head low, and it just flips you. It just gets its nose right underneath your crotch, and it tries to make me a opposed athletics check. But I know you're probably going to do well because you've got advantage on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me that opposed athletics check, because this thing is trying to literally yeet you.
25.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. You feel it come with enough strength to lift you up off of your feet, and you immediately kind of grab its head and just twist in a huge wrenching motion, and you go flipping underneath, and you see its head go flying up in the air with incredible force. But you have managed to get underneath it. You are now underneath its neck, and if you want to make an attack, you can do that.
So I'm going to... can I take a full turn?
You can take a single opportunity attack because it is completely exposed itself.
All right. So I want to... I'll just take an attack then.
Roll it.
And... Ugh, not great. That's a 14.
Excellent. So you stab up and your weapon goes scraping across scales. We're going to fast forward to cinematic kind of stuff. I'm not going to make you roll a bunch of rolls and drag out a long combat. Suffice it to say, the three of you working as a team need to take on this raptor. Instead of giving me individual attack rolls, tell me the kind of thing that you would do to, as a group, take this thing down. Okay?
Boog doesn't play well with others. So
Boog is just wailing away at this thing. You're just staying in its
so
space.
he just unloads.
Okay. With your axe, I take it?
Axe, fists, teeth, feet, headbutts, more headbutts.
So you're literally trying to jump up and grab onto this thing and just grapple it and just chop at it and gouge it with your toes and headbutt it. And you're just staying locked in combat.
Whatever. Yeah.
The crowd goes wild. Thack, what do you do?
So while this is going on, while he's beating up on it, Thack is remaining to the side, sort of like hype manning.
Nice.
And casting various bard and or paladin spells to aid.
Okay.
To aid my friend who's actually fighting it.
Okay.
And then at an opportune moment, when it looks like the creature might just have, like right after Boog has gotten in a really good hit, Thack is going to cast Phantasmal Force.
Ooh, okay.
Which is a powerful spell that makes the creature terrified of something, that will make the creature terrified of Boog for 1 minute.
For a minute? Oh my gosh, okay.
And we can roll that if you want.
This thing's tiny little lizard brain.
Throw.
This thing's tiny little saurian brain just crumples under the weight of this spell, and you see it just shriek and flail its head back and forth, and you see it's backing up along the wall, and it's just keeping its back to the wall, going backwards constantly, just roaring and screaming at you and snapping its jaws and taking its tail and trying to just whip its tail at you, just trying to make you stay away.
He's just kind of like
dodging and weaving.
Bam.
Nice.
So the thing is terrified of something and can't do anything but run.
Yeah.
So Boog and Nuss can just like beat up on it, I think.
You see the tail come and just whip Boog in the face, and he his head reels back and he just kind of wipes his just kind of shakes it off. But maybe
once the thing is terrified and cowering, the fight is over.
You hear screams of finish it, finish it.
Oh yeah.
And you see Gara come in with a kind of a giant industrial-sized bola. It's like a brick on each end, and you see her kind of whipping this thing around, and she throws it, and you see it tangle around its leg. And you see she begins to yank with a rope attached to the bola, and she starts yanking on this thing's leg. And pretty soon, Boog and Gara have this thing off its feet, kind of scrambling and clamoring. Thack, do you join in and attack this thing at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. A. What have I got here? I've got a special divine smite.
Ooh, okay, yeah. You see Boog lift up his axe, coming in at this thing at the head, and you see Thack he pulls out his sword, and it just explodes in light, and they both go charging in, and Thack plunges his sword deep into the chest of this thing, and Boog just doesn't take its head clean off, but you see its head just kind of roll to the side, and everybody gets screaming, and Gara goes up to you, Thack, and in the midst of the screams yells into your ear, "Now would be a really great time for us to make that mysterious exit, if you know what I mean." And she starts waving to the crowd and starts kind of making her way over towards the thing that the dinosaur came through. But you see her go over to it, and she fiddles with the lever, and you see it and she pushes it back, and now there's enough space to get back that way.
We go.
That goes. Boog, do you stand there and continue to receive adulations from the crowd, or do you follow your two compatriots out?
Yeah,
the
Boo goes
Boog
with him. He doesn't care about the crowd. He as he goes out, he tosses his like chewed up cigar over his shoulder.
Make me a wisdom check, Boog, with advantage, DC 12.
Wisdom check with advantage. Okay. Oh, yeah, we're good. I got a 20.
20.
Unnatural 20.
You see Boog he's about to walk out, and you see him kind of take a couple of steps back. He grabs the raptor by the head, and he lifts up his axe, and with one more, it's loose, and he just kind of turns and walks off with this thing almost dragging the ground because his arms are so extremely long. And you see him leave with the head. This is a big bugbear thing. Huge bugbear thing. Got to have trophies, right?
Yeah,
so
I'll do that.
You guys, we just fast forward. We're going to go into cinematic mode. You see the five of you guys. You see you guys running back to where? Where are you going? Gara is running, and she's like, I would imagine that they've.
Fact is
should
going
be
back
done
the
by
way
now.
we came.
Right. She says they should be done by now. What's your escape plan? Which of the options did you choose?
I'm going
get
back
in
the
here?
way I came. My ride's in the stables.
Harcourt's going
All right.
back the way he came. He doesn't particularly trust her.
You guys hear a real big, or actually, we need to cut back. Sorry, I'm trying to fast forward too much. We cut back to the scene of the vault. You guys you're loaded up with magic items. Do you close that? How do you leave the vault? What do you do?
Well, if the guy started eating, the little demon guy started eating things, if that's what happened, then Harcourt just leaves it all open and tries to start a fire.
Okay,
and, Sparkle said she could help with that. He's
Yeah,
got to cover his tracks.
Okay. Yeah, you see this Zorn come stepping into the vault, and you see it begin. It just like sticks its face into that big glass bowl of gems, and you see it like a cow at a feeding trough, just. And it takes it a little while. Like it spends a long time eating all those gems, long enough that gives you a few moments to everybody grabs their stuff. But then, in fact, it does turn and it sees a kind of a pallet of gold bars, and you see its jaws just open up impossibly wide, and it just clomps down on this, and it's just going to town on these gold bars, slurping them down. Beja, Harcourt, how do you guys cover your tracks with arson?
Harcourt just suggests that we light the whole building on fire.
Well, okay, it is a stone building, so not everything is flammable, but there are wooden floors and there's stuff on the ceilings.
Rafters.
The more we can burn, the more holes we make, the more likely it is that opportunistic looters looted everything away and it had nothing to do with us.
Fair enough.
Let's make lots of holes.
Yeah.
How do you start a fire?
We want everybody who's in the little gladiator arena type of deal just to be having chaos. So as far as Harcourt goes, he has Firebolt as a cantrip.
Okay.
And he just
I've got produce flame as a cantrip.
Yeah.
Just
so
as we're leaving fire everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, so you see Harcourt begin to fire off individual little bolts of fire, and you see Beja kind of crack her knuckles and fan out her fingertips, and just flamethrowers, just gouts of flame come spewing out of her fingers, and you see this sparkle in her eye of the sparkle of flame, and you smell the smell of burning everything. There's an arcane explosion from the corner of the room as some potions and vials go off, and you guys turn and you book it. And as you guys are running the elemental, you guys, Boog and Gara and Thak, you hear this doof, 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 doof. Fortunately, you see Jacob a split second before you hear this multi-ton. Oh, no, sorry. The Zorn is staying back there and is getting eaten, consumed in the flames. I apologize. You see all of the team come running, and you guys are all just sprinting down the hallway, down the corridor. You hear I don't think you even hear guards at this point. No one is chasing you or pursuing you. There's so much chaos. Everyone up in the stands is still completely enraptured, and you can still hear this faint call for an encore from you guys that's echoing down the halls.
And the moment Harcourt sees Thack, he throws him his guitar.
Nice. You see Thack, you see Harcourt running with what is obviously your instrument-sized case. He throws it to you. Thack, you peel it open.
Ha!
As you hold it aloft, beams of energy and magic and light come exploding out of it. Do you play it one-handed, like fret? Do you just like play it with one hand as you're holding it?
As soon as I identify that this is my instrument, I redouble my efforts to escape from danger.
Nice. Yeah, you guys sprint, and you've already cleared everything out behind you. You guys don't take Boog and Thack's hole to a pit of pain. You guys just go out the back way, and you jump up. And when you get to the final point, there's just a hole in the ceiling, like 20 feet up. How do you get up there?
I can put Harcourt on my back and fly up.
Oh, that's right. You've got a flying back. Yeah, you fly up, and one of you drops a rope to the others, and you guys all shimmy up, and you make it back to the wagon. And when you get back there, it's hidden down this tunnel. You guys you get out there, and you look out, and you see that there are some scavengers that are kind of picking over the remains of the cart that has turned over. Do you guys scare them off? Do you just drive by them? Do you let them see you? How do you handle that?
Out of it, can I see that happening?
Oh yeah, you can see it happening.
Out of just like a pure moment of frenzied sort of cunning, I guess, I'm just gonna cast summon lesser demons and just dash away.
Yeah, you see, you summon lesser demons on the far side of these guys, and they scatter and scream and run, and then the demons start going after Gilead, I guess. And you see Gilead running down the tunnel with demons chasing after him. You guys all run and jump on the cart, and you book it out of there, and you make it to a rendezvous point out in the countryside. It's not Harcourt's home, but it is a place that he knows of that is a good place to lay low and stay quiet. You guys fence the goods and make out like bandits, like kings. We see Boog months later in a small village that has just kind of formed around him, and we see this enormous mechano-raptor head mounted on a giant spike standing in the middle of his living room, and there's a giant bear rug and a giant flame in the hearth. You see all these little goblins running around him, bringing him food and drinks and stuff like that. But of course, Boog is probably going to get bored of this life at some point.
Why don't we ask each of the characters what they do?
Okay, yeah. Well, we were trying to move quickly here. So, Boog, you've got against
1
your
minute
wishes. Okay, Boog, almost against your wishes, these goblins have formed around you and are trying to force you into the position of their warlord, protector, overlord.
Yeah.
Has this been pleasing to Boog, or does he grow restless and tiresome?
Yeah. I mean, the sedentary life lasts for, I don't know, a couple hours. He mounts the thing on the pole, and he's like, "Yeah, that's nice." And then he rips all the teeth out and keeps those, and just leaves it. And I guess the goblins probably follow him though wherever he ends up going. So he kind of puts together this band of, well, it's him and a bunch of goblins.
And maybe we'll catch up with Boog and the goblins one day.
Sort of, I don't know. It's sort of a gang, but if they disappeared, he wouldn't really care. He just keeps going about his business, and now he's got a horde of goblins following him around.
So Slaps, you have got some filthy, silly coin on your hands. What does Slaps Hamfast do with his newfound wealth?
Slaps has already disappeared and no one ever hears of him again.
The shadow, the mere memory of Slaps Hamfast. When you talk about Slaps Hamfast, every now and then someone just appears out of the shadows and smacks you across the face and then disappears into the ether as though he's paid off some fairies to keep his name out of people's mouths. Beja, we see you with a enormous chest full of gems and precious metal ingots being pulled on a cart by a donkey, and you're driving it. Where are you driving this donkey with this fabulous wealth in the back?
So, in my Middle Ages, it's time for me to go back to my people. They're waiting for me. I have a role for me in the underground society, but I have no interest in it. I like my above ground life. So, if I can keep funneling money to them, I can keep buying my freedom from my people. So that's what I'm doing. I am passing off a good chunk of that money to my clan, and then keeping some to just live my adventurous external life.
Gilead Blackgallow, you have been equipped with enough funds to do as your heart pleases for some considerable time, arguably for the rest of your life. What is it that you do with this fabulous wealth?
Well, the first thing that Gilead is going to do is, of course, establish a reputation as the one who robbed the safest bank. And then he's going to go out and start sort of a secret thieves guild, although pretty much everyone knows about that has any sort of experience of thievery. And he's going to just covertly
he has
run
like
the nation.
flyers posted along the, just on the walls.
I think, unfortunately,
for the secret guild.
At some point in the future, we see Gilead putting up these posters, and you see a group of 6 men in black cloaks. And these are not ratty-tatty kind of cloaks. They're all uniform, clearly extremely expensive, and clearly covering some very expensive armor and weapons.
And anytime anytime he's going about doing this, people walking down the street just look away, like nothing happening over there. We don't know we don't know about that.
Those people look away and they look back and they're all gone. And that's the last anyone ever hears or sees of Gideon Blackgallow. He's erased from the face of the earth. Yes. Mr. Talamini. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Can I modify that a little bit?
Yes, you may add.
Here's this two very short scenes for Thack, the ending of Thack's story. The first scene is the 6 men in the expensive black cloaks grab hold of Gilead and drag him off into the night. And the camera cuts, and then we open up on a scene where the 6 men throw him down on a polished marble courtyard. There are torches burning. There are mirrors and holy apparatus around. There's an altar, and standing with his arms crossed, looking down at Gilead, is the holy paladin of law, Thack the Thunderer, who says to him, "I'll see that permit now, please." Next scene. The next scene is Thack the Thunderer sometime later, and we see him on the peak of a very tall mountain, and clouds swirl around below his feet, and all the countryside is at a distance, and the beautiful landscape as the sun is slowly setting in the west, and his cloak flaps around him, and you see the stars streaming from one side to the other as the light fades out of the sky, and he's standing there, and he's got one object in each hand, and it's as though he's just contemplating. He's just considering these 2 things. And in the one hand is his magical guitar, and in the other hand is the steaming black, grimdark blade of Abrexalor, the demon of law, and
Damon,
Fact
but
is
yes.
Contemplating these two objects and trying to choose between them or find a way to reconcile them as the sun goes down and it fades to black.
Nice. Harcourt Fenton Mudd, you, sir, pull off the heist of heists and cover your tracks to boot. There's a little bit of kerfuffle and some fingers get pointed, and sure enough, the organization has your back and you're able to divert heat from you, even though, clearly your name comes up as a player in the space, but your alimonies and, all such are airtight, and you manage to get away with this. We see Harcourt Fenton Mudd sitting on a small pile of precious ingots and gems with magic items surrounding him. Say again?
He went for mostly magic.
Yes, he's got, but some of the things that you received from the organization were just huge payouts, because for reasons that we might get into at some other point, the fact that you burned the place down entirely had certain ramifications that actually ended up working out extremely well for certain people involved in the organization. And as it turns out, at one point you show up at a dinner party with some of your betters from the group, and you see someone who you've only seen once or twice in your life, who is extremely high ranking. He comes over and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says,
I knew you'd either clean the place out or burn the place to the ground. Either way, fine by us.
Well done, Bud. And he kind of gives you kind of a uncle to a favorite nephew pat on the cheek. And he turns and walks you into the dinner party room. But we cut away from the dinner party, and it is Harcourt Fenton Mudd's life. How does fabulous wealth change the course of Harcourt Fenton Mudd's destiny?
Yeah, well, as his wife reminds him, it's not the most fabulous wealth that anybody's had. But he basically, I think, hits a ceiling in the organization, as it were, because of his lowborn status. And gosh, those cousins and uncles and whatever are just so long-lived. And at some point, he decides to strike out for the non-elven territories and maybe make an organization of his own.
Excellent. Maybe go beyond the reach of the guild and make your own guild with blackjack.
Does he need some muscle?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we might actually see a moment where Harcourt Fenton Mudd is sitting down, penning a business proposition for possibly interested parties in a new venture in distant lands. But until such a time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put a pause on the stories of Harcourt Fenton Mudd, Fact the Thunderer, et al., who pull off the heists of heists. And remember, even though these gentlemen succeeded tonight and made it look easy, failure is beautiful. See you next time.